Welcome, you dear friends, to our reflections of today for Tuesday, the 25th day in the month of June. And I invite you to reflect with me on the topic, strive to enter by the narrow gate, because nothing good ever comes easily. We must understand the facts as well as on earth that nothing good ever comes easily. You must pay the price. If you love to be successful, then you must love to be disciplined too. This means that behind every success, there is suffering, which is the level of your hard work. A businessman who wants to make progress in his business must work hard in making new research and findings for a smooth running of his business. A student preparing for exams must also work hard, burn midnight candles, and sacrifice some comforts at the moment because he or she is aiming at something. A pregnant woman is also patient in enduring the pains and discomfort she is undergoing because she is looking up to something as well. We are inevitably enwrapped with the DNA of sufferings as humans. There must be one thing or another to twing us to pain. Be it our basic problems, family problems, the death of a loved one, the hurt from a betrayer, and others. So, why run away from it since it is part of our existence? It is often said that there is no shortcut to greatness because those who had tried to make it sharp without skin pain often end up with either arriving at their destinations ahead of God or may even put God behind as the journey, and the supposed no skin pain becomes for them no free gain. Jesus knew that it was much easier and quicker to pass through the wide gates, but he said, "Work hard to follow the narrow gates." He knew that this one is difficult, yet he admonished we follow it as a way of reminder that waiting the sweet, the key too. We can liken these wide gates as the way of the world. The people of the world is not prepared to hear suffering. They cannot afford to attend the church's vigil because for them it is time consuming, but we prefer to keep watch with bottles in their hand at a bar room over the night, and it is not a waste of time. The way of the world is an antagonistic muscle when it comes to learning virtues for moral living. What do they need it for, since anything can go freely? Jesus asked of us, as his followers, to desire this narrow gate. He was not silent about the scandals of this narrow road. He knew it would be difficult and unpleasant, and he equally knew that only a few would look for it. He didn't promise us an easy flight to heaven, but he promised a safe landing so that we don't get crushed. By passing through this narrow gate, we purge ourselves of excesses, accumulated and poisonous vices, which is not fit for God's kingdom. The church is the gateway to achieving this. When you make efforts to grow in virtues and to live out an authentic Christian life, which is never easy, then you are already making progress to pass through the narrow gate. Suffering for me does not define you. Instead, it refines you. The truth is that suffering does not give meaning to life. The kind of life we live gives meaning to suffering, just as Jesus' life gave clear meaning to Calvary. He knew the shortcut of accepting the offer to be crowned king as desired by the people. This we find in John chapter 6, 15 to 16. But he chose the other way of hardship to suffer before pleasure. Hence, the author of my imitation of Christ, Thomas Kempis, kindly advised us to prepare ourselves to suffer many adversities and different evils in this miserable life, because it must be so, since there is no remedy against suffering than to bear it patiently. For our merit and the advancement of our state consists not in having many sweetness and consolations, but rather in bearing great afflictions and tribulations. My Imitation of Christ, Book 2, Chapter 12. If indeed there had been anything better and more beneficial to my salvation than suffering, Christ would have showed it by word and indeed by example. Strive more to go through the narrow gates. Don't run away from suffering. Nothing good ever comes easily. And never forget that even if you must bend while doing the work, which is the work of God, do not break. Let us pray. Grant us, Lord, the grace and strength to press on as we make progress in our Christian journey. Amen. Good morning, beloved. God cares so much for you. Have a blessed day and God bless you.